Hi, good afternoon. My name is Dawn, and I'm owner of Moments in Time Gift Shop. And I came to talk to you all about finances. And part of the finance process is taxes, just your assets, investments, businesses, just all sorts of whatever you're dealing with income, outcome, debts, expenses. All of those things are in your finance life. So today I'm trying to help you out with some things about finances. And I know one of the most important things that we're dealing with finances is our tax life. And I am a tax preparer. That's why I named my company Moments in Time Gift Shop, because any moment in time that I have in life could deal with all sorts of things. And I do certain things. I am a CPR instructor. I deal with taxes. I am a crafter. I'm a licensed insurance agent. So a lot of stuff that I do in my business concerned with me doing my business. And so that's why I named it Moment in Time Gift Shop, because any different time somebody might need taxes done. It could be now, it could be tax season, whenever they need it done. If I'm available, I will be able to help them prepare their taxes. If they need a CPR class, I will be there to help them get their class certification. And so, and if they need to want to just do crafting, I'm there. I like to do crafting as a hobby as well as a side hustle. So I really enjoy crafting. And so I just do all of these different things. But right now, I'm going to discuss my other niche in my business. Is because we know that tax season is a couple of months away, but it's really going to be creeping up on us. And I just want to go over a few things with you all about taxes. For one thing, we know that you if you have income, or if you have dependents, or you want to claim your assets or get rid of assets, or if you're doing any kind of transactions in life, distribution, retirement, distributions, or whatever it may consist of in your financial life, you might have to pay taxes on that income. So what I'm going to discuss sometime, I just want to start off with the simple stuff right now, which is your take-home pay. And take-home pay is the amount of salary remaining after all deductions have been taken out. Okay, some of the most common deductions are for federal, state, and local income tax withholdings, Social Security tax withholding, and healthcare premiums also can be withheld from your income, from your salary. Okay. Flexible spending accounts contributions and contributions to salary reductions or other retirement saving plans. All of these things could affect your take-home pay. So we talk about take-home pay. Take-home pay, is very important. I'm sorry, I have a little cold. Take-home pay Let's talk about that take home pay. Now, we can have take home pay for many different hustles. Okay. Now, say if you have your own hustle going on and you're not working for an employer, that's a different take home pay. Okay. They're not going to be taken out for Social Security, or they're not going to be taken out for your state taxes, local taxes, or any of those contributions. So many people out here are self-employed. They're self-employed. So while you're being self-employed, and once you do your taxes, or you doing your taxes, because you're self-employed don't mean that you should skip out doing your taxes. Because self-employment also on your tax form is a is a box for your SE, and the software will take out automatically for if you're self-employed or whatever, and or side hustles or whatever. Some side hustles do not pay, do not take out for your federal, local, or state taxes. They do not take out that. Who is responsible for those taxes if you are the boss? If you are the person in charge, you are. So if you're not taking out for your, when you prepare your taxes, then with your side hustles, you might be doing Uber, you might be driving one of these door dashing, or some of these side hustles you do, they probably provide you with a 1099. But that leaves you to be responsible for your federal and your state and your insurance premiums, okay, out of that 1099. And your tax preparer will have the software, or should have the knowledge of how to make those deductions on your tax return, and how to prepare your tax return on those 1099s, which is your side hustles, Uber, door dashing, or just doing your regular business, as compared to an employer taking out those deductions out of your takeout pay. Okay, and I just explained what take home pay was. Okay, so when your employer, and you are the employer, and you are responsible for those deductions, that's coming out of your take home pay. When you prepare your taxes, you should also, if you're door dashing, Uber, or whatever side hustle you are doing, whether you are a crafter or whatever you do on the side, you should have some expenses that you are keeping up with when you're on these hustles. Okay, if you have your expenses, you should have gas, your mileage sheet, or your car, if you need oil so much for your car, or tires, or whatever maintenance you had to pay for keeping your vehicle up to date, or in your tags, your stickers, parking fees, whatever you had with your expenses or driving that vehicle to deliver or pick up your riders or deliver the packages that you was delivering for these side hustles, that is what should go on your taxes. If you prepare your taxes properly, your preparer should know what form to put these expenses on to deduct all of these expenses from your take home, your pay, your gross salary, to give you your take home pay. Okay, so that is why I'm trying to explain those sort of things that come out of your take home pay. And your take home pay is important for those taxes, for those purposes of taxes. And when you get older, if you have paid your Social Security taxes, your health care premiums, such as Medicare taxes, out of your take home, out of your gross salary, then, when you get older, you have something to go into for your retirement purposes. Social Security checks, Social Security purposes. As when you get older, you have enough Social Security, enough points to get your Social Security check, or enough points to get your Medicare health insurance premium. You have your health insurance taken care of. So it's very important for your retirement purposes to have something put aside out of your side hustles or out of your gross salary, even if you have to put it aside yourself as an investment or some kind of way to have a ram in the bush for later, for your future, for yourself or your family. If you're just doing side hustle, you should have a prepared some kind of prepared plan for the future. That's what I'm saying. So that part is important, and you need to, if you're filing taxes, you need to do that yearly so that you can have that added to your points for your Social Security. It's not that you just wanted to get a refund. It's also for your future, your future benefit. It's just like a retirement payment. So you want to file your taxes. And filing taxes is important if you want to purchase a home. Because if you want to purchase a home, you need at least 2 years of tax returns. They want to see a history of your income. They want to see that you are a breadwinner. They want to see that you can afford this home that you want to purchase. So you need to build up a history of sending in tax returns and paying taxes, or doing what you need to do to find yourself credit worthy, to be credit worthy for what you're trying to purchase. So therefore you need to file your taxes on a regular basis. Have your taxes filed properly, where you can have your business on your tax return and your job. You can have a business as well as a job and do your taxes. So those are the things that you need to be aware of, because in life things are not just based. Some things there is a system to doing everything, and there is a process. There is a process to things being done, and that is one of the processes is filing taxes. Even if you want to buy a car, sometimes they want to know exactly how much income you have. They might want to see a tax return. And so it is properly to have your taxes filed properly, have your taxes filed on time, and know what to deduct and what not to deduct, and how to deduct the things that you need to deduct to have you come out with a victorious tax return. Because, I mean, it's so many things and you can do to have a victorious tax return that you wouldn't have to be afraid to file your taxes. So that is one of the things I wanted to tell you about, was the take home, the take home pay. Okay, so we're gonna be on these videos. I will be discussing many things concerning taxes, your tax return. There is the first form that you'll file is the 1040. The 1040 form that's the basic form issued by the Internal Revenue Service for individual tax return. And we also has they got a 1040 EZ form, and that's the simplified alternative to the 1040 form for taxpayers. You can have a single or married filing jointly status, or under age 65 or not blind. Claim no dependents, have taxable income under $50,000, have income only from salaries, wages, tips, taxable scholarships, fellowship grants, unemployment compensation, and taxable interest income below $400. So, but most people don't file that form. They mostly file the 1040, covers all this of the same stuff. So usually I work with the 1040 and other different forms that comes with the income of the individual that I'll have. And we also know that there are the different filing status that you can file: single, head of household, married filing jointly, or usually we don't really have husband and wife filing, married filing separately, because it's so much in a high tax bracket. So usually if a husband and wife gonna file, mainly they'll file married filing jointly. And that means that whatever he has, you're responsible for. Whatever she has going on is coming out of both of you all taxes. Married filing jointly. Head of household is the person that's filing the taxes in that household, who pays the bills, who take over all the expenses, who have the kids, and all of that comes with the head of the household. Single is just you by yourself, or single could be, sometimes you can file single with a child. Sometimes, if somebody else is in that house, sometimes I have somebody else in that home filing the head of household, and you have a child and you living at that same address. Sometimes I do go ahead on and let that person file single, but they have a child, because they have their child. Two people cannot file head of household at the same address. So I do, and I have filed single with that person in the house with their child if they want to file taxes at that same address. That is the way I would go with it, to be on the safe side of the fence, because they cannot have two people head of household at that same address. So I will file that person with a child, sometimes single, filing head of house. They might pay a little more taxes, but usually it balances out with the earned income credit and all the other credits that this person is gonna get for single head of household. Single filing with a dependent, they still will get their share per portion, and you don't have to worry about being penalized for two people using that same address. So I have a lot of things or strategies that I use when I'm helping people with their taxes. But you have to be wise, and you have to have knowledge of what not to do and what to do when you're filing your taxes. So stay tuned for some more of these tips, and we'll see what the next subject that I have to talk about on the next time I come before you. Bye bye.